Hello, welcome. We're at the Center for Cultural Understanding. This is a series of exhibits housed in the formerly known African American Cultural Center. I think Dallas Independent School District is the only school district that has its own museums and cultural centers. We have exhibits that relate to the European American experience. We actually have a facsimile of a log cabin and certain artifacts that you would have seen had you been in the 1800s and parts of the Southwest. So we promote the idea of similarities. So all people have some type of housing, and that housing is based not only on their traditions but also the materials that are available where they reside. So when we move from the European American, we go to the Mexican American exhibit. We have an exhibit on display related to masks. And one thing you'll see is that you'll see masks in all of the areas. When we go to Native American, the African American, Asian American, so the symbolism of masks. We have art by some of the famous Mexican artists, Frida Kahlo and Diego Rivera. We have artifacts. And so students get a well-rounded sense of the creativity that existed in the artwork that we have here. We also have an exhibit that documents the contributions of Hispanics in this area. We have the significance of Cinco de Mayo. We have Hispanic American Hall of Fame. So there's a lot here on the Mexican American experience. Now we're moving into the Native American experience. And we showcase the maps to let young people know that there was no one group of Indians, that Indians were identified based on their tribal allegiance. And so we have various ethnic groups, Native American groups represented here. We have a lot of artifacts that relate to Native American culture. We also have some photographs of some of the outstanding contemporary Native Americans. And a lot of the materials are hands-on, where students can have an opportunity to actually touch some of the artifacts that we have on display. And again, you see masks. So we ask students to, what do they see that's in common with all of these various exhibits? We go into the next area. We have two group showcase, and that's our African American and our Asian Americans. So our African American exhibit is probably the largest because it has always been housed here. So we start with Africa. We have a lot of artifacts related to Africa. We have images of outstanding African Americans. We have two permanent exhibits. One is Martin Luther King Jr. and the Civil Rights Movement, and along with that we have an art exhibit on Dr. King, that was art that was created by students from Prairie View A&M University. Here we have our Asian American exhibit, and when we say Asian, we cover all of Asia, Southeast Asia, Southwest Asia. We have some of the outstanding individuals that some of our students probably have never heard of, but people who made contributions. I.M. Pine, we tell them how he designed the City Hall and the downtown library. But our Asian exhibit covers various aspects of regions of Asia. And again, we have masks, we have the ceramics. So we have a great deal of variety. We also have books here on the various cultures. So we try to have teacher training, cultural competency, that takes place here as well. And this is an ideal place to have that type of training, because they see the diversity. Here we have a traveling exhibit that schools can check out on Frederick Douglass, from slavery to freedom. And then our permanent exhibit here, and this is what we call a functional exhibit, because we needed space for students to sit down. So we recreated an auditorium scene that represents faith, and students come in and they actually sit and they're surrounded by history.
What are some of your favorite pieces in this area?
One is this sculpture that we have on family. because family is so significant regardless of what ethnic group you're dealing with, and this kind of showcases that. Also, an exhibit that we had that was created by a group of students from South Oak Cliff High School, African Americans for whom Dallas schools were named, and they did research